Welcome to Chats with Chocky, Mr. Mark Olive.
Great to be here, Chalk. Thanks very much.
Thank you once again for jumping on, mate. It's a pleasure, absolute pleasure.
The pleasure's all mine, Chalk. Pleasure's all mine.
Yeah. So, me and Mark met at the gym a few years ago up in Noosa, Pegasus at the time.
hmm
But yeah, so a few years ago now, but super interested, always quizzing you about your book and about your life. I could see behind the eyes, there was a big story to tell.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, there is a bit, Chalk. And I know, like, I appreciate the constant, what's happening with the bookmark, what's happening with the bookmark, over many years.
Yeah.
And look, and I am getting closer, Chalk. Just to let you know, looking at early 2024 to finally publish
Ooh,
it.
hopefully I've got
Um,
a copy there ready for me, mate. I'll be
Yeah,
the
there'll be a
first.
copy for you. There'll be
Yeah.
a copy for you, Chuck. Absolutely.
Beauty.
But yeah, I mean, it's been a 7 year journey to write it. And yeah, there's been many catalysts as to why I decided to write the book. But it's become, I guess, something I'm very passionate about. And
Mm,
it's changed me as a person as well. It's the person I was before I started writing it and the person I am now, like two completely different people. And it's actually really surprised me. Um, you know, Looking at what I used to believe and what I believe now, just in the journey of, I guess, going within over those past 7 years. And that's really what it was about writing the book. It was about, who am I and who do I want to be and what I really believe. So yeah,
mm,
it's been a wild journey. It's almost ready to put it out there into the world.
yep.
So no, very excited. Mm.
Yeah, I'm excited too. It's interesting when you like how you've started a project with one idea, but then it just opens the world to more, and then you learn and grow just from opening that door almost.
Yeah,
Hey.
no, exactly, Chuck. And I mean, the reason I started writing it was, I guess I reached a point in my life where I kind of hit rock bottom. And I think that happens with a lot of people. You have to kind of really hit those low depths in order to kind of rediscover yourself as a new person. Throw away the old version of you and start afresh. And it was in that moment in time when I'd really, as I said, like hit rock bottom, really didn't know where I was going, who I was, everything I thought I believed in, it kind of, nothing had really led to the happiness that I was trying to find. And I just started hearing like this little voice in my head at the time. I was in a state of severe depression, and I'd pretty much given up on life. I was like, I can't, I've tried everything. I've done, done what I was told I should do. I've done the opposite of what I was told I should do. Nothing really is working. I don't get it. I don't understand, what life is all about. And I was just in this, yeah, deep, dark depression. Nothing really seemed to help. And I just started hearing this voice in my head one day, and it was, if you want to heal yourself, you must write.
Wow.
And it just kept repeating over and over and over, for a couple of weeks, until eventually I opened up my laptop and I started writing. And as I said, that was 7 years ago, and it has completely changed my life. And it was just
Mm,
that intuitive voice in my head. Uh, you know, Following that, actually opening the laptop and making that decision. And I really procrastinated on that for a long time.
mm.
But when I finally did, as you say, open that door, it has really changed my life. Yeah, so in a very positive way too.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I
but as I
imagine.
said, like everything I thought I believed or I knew before that, I really had to throw it out the door. Or the other thing I understood was that, like, I thought I understood a lot about spirituality and self-development, before then, but I really didn't. And it's only in, I guess, practicing and actually, a lot of the things that I thought were simple, to put them into practice, what I realized is actually much harder to put
Mm,
some of these principles into practice. And so again, that's what the last 7 years have been for me. It's just about actually, having integrity, practicing what I preach. Um, yeah, and it's been a wild journey. Mm.
yeah. I want to talk about your like where you were to get into that journey because you were in the you're in the construction field, you were in it, and then you became a spiritual teacher before you wrote the
Yeah,
book. Is
yeah,
that's
yeah,
right? Hey.
yeah, yeah. Well, I'll start, I guess, from the major catalyst I had in terms of like looking into spirituality, personal growth was when I was at university. Um, up until then, I'd had a fairly normal childhood. Uh, you know, I was at university, basically ticking all the boxes I thought I needed to tick. And then I was regularly playing squash with a friend of mine, and I found that I was just getting really breathless. And it
Mm,
seemed to get worse and worse and worse until like after every point I'd be lying on the ground, couldn't breathe. I was young, healthy. It didn't really make any sense as to what was going on.
mm,
But it just got worse and worse. And eventually I think I said to my mother, look, I think there's something wrong, because I can't do, what a normal 21-year-old person can do. And eventually that led to me going and seeing a cardiologist.
mm.
And when the cardiologist listened to my heart and looked at me, he sort of said, "Oh, there's nothing wrong with you. Like, what are you doing here? But we'll do an ultrasound just to make sure." And when they did the ultrasound, it came back that I was pretty much on death's door. That
Wow.
the valves in my heart were in severe prolapse, so they weren't functioning properly, and so my
Wow.
heart had enlarged to the point where, yeah, I was basically well, my heart was failing, and so that led to very quickly I had open heart surgery to try and repair the valves. That didn't work actually. And so again, it was looking pretty dire. So I was 22 years old at the time.
Wow. Were
And
you
um, and
super scared at that time? Was that a scary
yeah, it's interesting at the time, like, in your early 20s, you really,
fearless?
up until that point, I just thought I was invincible. I just didn't really
Yeah.
understand what was going on. And I couldn't, what I really went into, like self-pity um, there was a lot of anger in there around, why me,
Mm,
like what's wrong with me? Why is this happening to me? Um, but but it was also I had to face the possibility of actually dying at such a young age, and I guess that was the catalyst for me, like into actually, what is the point? Like, why are we here? Why am I here? Like,
mm.
if I can die, because I hadn't really thought about it. You don't think about that at that age. But I actually had another open heart surgery at 23, again to try and fix these issues with my heart. And what happened in that last surgery was um, my aorta ruptured just after the surgery, and that's normally you die if that happens. But they were just wheeling me out of the intensive care unit that just finished the operation, and so they were able to. Take a vein out of my leg and do a temporary thing and actually keep me alive. So it was pretty miraculous that I survived
Wow.
that.
Yeah.
But yeah, but it was like a blessing in disguise. Like I look back on it now, and it was exactly what I needed to allow me to actually go on the journey that I needed to go on. If I hadn't had that intervention, then I just would have done, I guess, what everyone else was doing at the time, or my peer group, which is to go to uni, get a job, family, kids, all that sort of things. But what my heart journey did was actually took me in a very different direction. And looking back on it now, like I always like I knew that I was kind of pretending in living that life. Like I was trying to be cool. I was drinking. I was doing all the things that a normal 21-year-old was doing. But I mean, I'd always felt like I guess I didn't really fit in there. I was just pretending to try and to try and fit in somewhere. I didn't really fit in at home growing up. I didn't really fit in with peer groups. I didn't at university. I was just trying to find somewhere that I could actually say, okay, right, this is where I belong. But I didn't belong there, and I was pretending, and so I created this intervention to really put me slingshot me in a very different direction.
Mm,
And that's what happened. So yeah, I did finish university, and I actually did get a job after that. But I write about this in my book. Like everything changed for me after that. So, like I
mm,
just I started to question like what's the point? Like,
Mm.
why am I here? Like, what is being human? Like, what does it mean?
What does it
Like,
mean? Yeah.
are we here just to, grow up, get a job, have kids, and die? Like,
Yeah.
There's got to be more to life than this.
Yeah, for sure.
So that was the first catalyst, and then shortly after that, um, a colleague of mine at work actually put a like a DVD copy of The Secret, the documentary
Mm.
The Secret. I don't know if you've
Yep.
seen that. It was
Yep.
really big at the time. I think it was like 2005 or something like that. And put that on my desk, and I'd never heard of, didn't understand what it was, and I watched it.
It's the law of
And
attraction, right? It's based
it's
on,
law of attraction. Yeah, it's law
yeah.
of attraction. I mean, it's based on the teachings of Abraham Hicks, but
Yep.
they don't mention Abraham Hicks in it. But yeah, but it got me thinking, oh, okay, so I can have everything that I want. That there is a way, I don't have to suffer. Life doesn't have to be this constant suffering. And so that started me on a journey. Eckhart Tolle was really big at the time, so I started getting into Eckhart Tolle. I then read like Neil Donald Walsh, Conversation with God books. I found those really
Mm.
helpful. Then Abraham Hicks was a really profound, like I read all the Abraham Hicks material. And then I also got into, I pretty much went full into, I need to understand. I need to understand like anything spiritual I could find. Course in Miracles, Way of Mastery, the Bhagavad Gita, any Easter, like I couldn't get enough of it.
Yeah.
I just read and read and read,
Yeah.
and I went to a lot of teachers overseas. Did meditation retreats and so forth. And so by the end of my 20s, yeah, I was actually beginning to teach workshops.
Mm.
I had a partner at the time. I'd also manifested, I guess, quite significant financial wealth. I had 6 properties, and I guess you could say like I was a success
Mm.
in the eyes of the world. But again, it was all what I didn't really understand, but it was all kind of I was still dependent on all these external things. My relationship, it was a codependent relationship. The the relationship I had with wealth was codependent. Yeah, I could go out and teach like a lot of these spiritual concepts,
Mm.
but I wasn't really living it, and I didn't really understand it. And
Mm.
so what I did in my early 30s was I realized that I was living a lie, I guess. Like
Mm.
I wasn't being authentic. Yeah, I was, purporting myself to be, I guess, a teacher. Um, you know, I could call myself successful in the eyes of the world, but still, like, I wasn't happy.
Mm.
I was still really dependent, and I knew it. I knew that there was something I wasn't getting.
Mm.
So I just consciously and subconsciously, I just got rid of everything.
Wow.
Something clicked in my brain, and I just thought I have to get rid of everything.
Yeah.
And so I did. I sold all the properties. I got rid of everything. The relationship ended. And then that is kind of, and so I found myself like, um, I stopped working. I just stopped. I just actually just like fully took myself out of the previous world I'd been in, and
Wow.
just, yeah, and then that's when I guess this severe depression kicked in,
Yeah.
because with all this external, I had all these external things,
Yeah.
and I felt like a fraud. I didn't feel happy, and then now I had nothing, and I felt like a fraud. I didn't feel happy.
Yeah.
So it didn't change anything for me, and then that's when I went into this, I guess, severe depression, that I was trying because that's the only thing I could do. Like, no, I've done all this external things,
Yeah.
acquired things, gave it away, didn't make any difference. And so then what I realized is that, like, the answer to my suffering was within. That's the only place I could find. I realized I couldn't find in the external world, so I needed to go within, and that's what the depression started out as. But then when I started writing the book, I transformed that depression into um, growth. I started to
Mm.
understand. I wrote, and I started to realize what was really going on.
Mm.
And because I wanted to understand. Like, I was tired of suffering. Like, how do I end this suffering?
Mm.
Um, and that's when I really started to understand like the beliefs that we take on. and that really our suffering all comes from, buying into fear-based beliefs. And I started to understand what is fear-based beliefs, what are the societal fear-based beliefs, and what, what's the purpose of it? Why, as a society, are we so indoctrinated, or why do we have these ingrained societal fear-based beliefs around unworthiness?
Mm.
One of the main things for me, Chock, was understanding that, a lot of the suffering, one of the main causes of suffering in humanity today is this, it's I call it external dependency. So relying on external factors for happiness. Um, and it's fine to say that, and a lot of people say
Mm.
that, happiness only comes from within. Um, but what I really understood was that in practice, like, it is actually true. Like,
Mm.
because I'd sought happiness externally, for over 30 years. And no matter what I did, no matter what I was able to acquire, I'd acquire something, but then I'd fear losing it, or I
Mm.
wouldn't acquire something and I'd fear I'd never get it.
Mm.
And so that to me is, again, it's what I call external dependency, where it's like codependency in a relationship. Where you have two externally dependent people form a relationship, they become codependent.
Mm.
And then you're constantly looking to that external factor, person or thing, for validation, and
Mhm.
your worth becomes dependent on that external thing. And so we do that in everything. We do that in relationships. We do that with, with wealth, friends. We do that with it. And it's because we've been taught to do that.
Yeah.
Um, and so that's really what the book is about. It's about understanding that, um, you know, happiness can only ever come from within. We actually don't need anything external to look, feel, or be any kind of way. We can be happy now. We can choose to be happy now.
Mm.
And as I said, it's easy to say that, but I guess what I go into my book is really about, okay, this is the process of going for someone who is externally dependent, because we've been taught to be externally dependent, and how to actually, um, gradually, at a pace that is comfortable to you, free yourself from that dependency, from that perception of need.
Right.
Um,
Is
because
that
it's
sort of the
whenever we,
process? Sorry, you go.
I was just going to say that, like, whenever we believe we need something external, like, we give our
Oh,
power
okay.
away to
Yeah.
that thing. We become, and it's that perception of need which is the greatest cause of suffering for humanity.
Mm. Mm.
There are needs. We do have, neutral needs. This is Bashar, or probably my favorite mentor. Like, he talks about, there are neutral needs that to be human, that we all need, which is, we need to breathe, we need air, we need food, we need water, we need sleep. So there are 7 of these neutral needs, but it's it's the perceived needs over and above that, that is the cause for suffering. Um,
Mm.
yeah,
That's like the Buddhist sort of way of the more attachments they have, you more you'll suffer,
exactly. That's
same
exactly
sort of.
right, Doc. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's and all these teachers, they've been saying it
Yeah.
for all the time. And
Yeah.
nothing that I'm saying here is any different. I'm just saying it in a different way. I'm just
Yeah.
saying it in my own unique
So
way.
you,
But
yeah.
the information is out there. But what I've realized is that it's actually putting it into practice
Yeah.
is the challenge, to actually, yeah, uh, live in the world, but not be beholden to it.
Mm.
Not define your worth or define yourself by, the reactions of others or what's happening externally. Like, it is like the greatest challenge, because, if you eliminate the perception of need, like, let me put it this way: if you believe you need something, you can't, like a person, a thing, or whatever, then you can't live unconditionally, because you're placing a condition on that. Your happiness is conditional on, an external factor being a certain way. So you can't actually
Mm.
be your true, authentic, unconditionally loving self. You cannot be unconditional. So it's reaching that point of unconditionality where you can just be yourself, and then it doesn't matter what happens externally. It
Mm.
doesn't, like, it can be whatever it is. It's not going to, you can still be who you are. You don't need something external in order for you to be who you truly are.
Mm.
And then the ironic thing is that, um, you know, when you don't need these external things, when you don't place an insistence on an external factor, that's when they can actually come to you. That's when you don't have resistance. You're not blocking the
Mm,
manifestation of those things. And that's what, like, the law of attraction, it's so huge. People have been talking about it for, the past decade or two.
mm,
It's really big. You can have anything you want. You just need to focus on it, manifest it. You can get it. Um, but it hasn't worked. You know, People are starting to realize, well, I understand law of attraction exists, but why am I not getting everything
mm,
I want? And it's because, it's this insistence that you're placing on it, this condition, this perception of need, which is fear-based anxiety, and that actually blocks that thing manifesting in your reality because you believe you need it. So your actions will be based in fear. You'll be acting out of anxiety rather than acting out of unconditional love because it's conditional. Your actions are conditional on achieving a certain result in your external reality. But when you just be yourself for no other reason than that's who you are, and you want to give of yourself unconditionally, there's no resistance.
mm,
And that will allow in whatever it is that you genuinely need. And it might not be what you want. It might not be what you've been taught to believe you need. But it will be actually what you genuinely need when you just be yourself. And really, that's what I've learned. That's
mm,
all. That is the journey of rediscovery. That is actually ending your suffering. Is just being who you really are
mm,
right now, to the best of your ability. And
mm,
then the more you do that, Choc, and this is again what I've realized, like the more you actually be who you truly are, the more the fear-based beliefs, the fear-based beliefs that say you took on in childhood, societal fear-based beliefs, the more they'll come to the surface for you
mm,
to actually look at them, process them, let them go. Like any blocks that you have to being more of who you truly are, that's like the more you do it, the more these beliefs will come up. The more resistance you'll say, okay, uh, you, I am being who I truly am in this moment. I'm following, what I'm passionate about and excited about, but hang on, something is stopping me.
mm,
There's this old fear of a lack of self-worth, or I'm not worthy, or I can't do it, or they will come to the surface because they're no longer aligned with the new version of you that you're creating now. And so that is a journey too, like in becoming who you truly are, in letting go of that old fear-based version of you, you will need to you will force these old beliefs to the surface.
mm,
And that it too is a journey. That's like the depression I went through, the dark nights of the soul. It's part of it. It's part of releasing that old version of you, these unconscious beliefs, that we've been programmed with that we don't even know we're holding on to. They
mm.
bubble to the surface, and so that is really the journey of just self discovery. Is being who you truly are by shedding and releasing, who you are not.
Yeah, yeah. So much to unpack, but I feel like um, the biggest thing people can do is probably look at everything they're doing and ask why they're doing it, and
Yeah,
perhaps say, Would I be happy without that?" And I've had to
yeah,
practice that
yeah,
this year when I was traveling around, and I had my injured knee. I couldn't do jujitsu. I didn't have a gym, and I was realizing that I had a lot of attachments to going to the gym. It was my escape.
yeah, yeah,
Who
yes,
am I without the gym? And it
yes,
was a big,
yes,
big shift in my
yeah,
own,
mm,
yeah, attachment styles. And I guess moving from that, now I have a much better relationship with the gym. I don't need to be in there every day. I just,
yeah,
you know, um, yeah, it's an interesting journey because you don't even realize it. Like you said, you're just unconscious to all your attachments
yeah,
until you take them away. Like you took all yours away, and then you really
yes,
did feel that, oh fuck, I've got nothing. And that's
yes.
when you're like, wow, I really need to summon my own power back, basically.
Exactly, Chalk.
Mm,
Exactly. And just on that, like I guess one of the main things I discovered too is, uh, for me, like the masculine energy is in crisis and has been for a while. And as a man, it's been really helpful to understand, masculine energy and feminine energy,
mm,
and that our society too. And this is one thing that I think as men we really don't fully, or we haven't fully understood yet, is that like emotions aren't the enemy.
no,
As
yeah.
Abraham Hicks talks about, like emotions, it's your natural guidance system. And the way, and by just disconnecting ourselves from emotions and just saying, oh, I'll just use pure logic, That's actually not that, like, you're actually disconnected. You won't uncover those unconscious fear-based beliefs. So the way your emotions are generated by your heart, and they're in response to what you believe. So if you filter your energy, if you're perceiving reality and you filter your energy through a fear-based belief, your heart will automatically generate negative emotion. And if you
Mm,
filter your energy through a love-based belief, your heart will automatically generate positive emotion. So your emotions are the key. Like in understanding your beliefs and uncovering your beliefs, it's your emotions that are the key.
mm,
So whenever you feel negative emotion, it's not that you've done something wrong. It's not that you have to give your power away to that emotion. It's about acknowledging, allowing yourself to feel that emotion, and then asking the question, what would I need to believe is true about myself in order for me to feel this way? That's a question that comes from Bashar. And that to me is like the most powerful questions, because you are using your emotional guidance system to determine what your underlying belief is. And it separates you. It actually puts you in an objective state when you ask that question. What would I need to believe is true about myself in order to feel the way I do? So if you're feeling a negative emotion, the way to uncover your belief is to just ask yourself that question. So
mm,
your beliefs generate emotions, then your emotions generate your thoughts.
mm,
So really, emotions are the key, like to actually understand and your beliefs. Like as men, we actually need to like not. It doesn't mean be emotional and just let your emotions overwhelm you. It's just acknowledging that your emotions are your guidance system.
mm,
And you use your emotions in a positive way. So whenever you feel negative emotion, you can use it in a positive way. It's a positive signal. It's a warning sign telling you that
mm,
you're buying into a fear-based belief that's out of line with who you really are. And
mm.
so that has been a journey for me as well.
Yeah, 100%. I feel the same, and is an example of that would be to say you're in a relationship and your partner comes home and they've done something to upset you, but they didn't
Yep.
mean to, and then you have that. There's this a big story going on in your head,
Yes.
like, oh, why did they
Yeah.
do that to me? But you haven't even
Yeah.
talked about it. But then
Yes.
you got that anger, and then you start resenting, and then before you, if you don't know this awareness skill of checking why that's
Yes.
come up, for example, like you've they didn't take the rubbish out, but then
Yeah.
like you didn't even ask them to do it.
Yes. Yes.
Your belief
Yes.
would be like the woman or the man should be doing it A, B, C, and you haven't spoken about it, and that's your belief system. Is
Exactly.
that
Exactly.
sound? Yeah.
It's exactly right. And if you
Mm.
look at it and you go, I feel bad now, yeah, because I'm angry at my partner. Well, it's not about what your partner has or hasn't done. It's about your belief.
Mm.
And if you look in that, if you what would I need to feel this way in order for me to, so what I need to believe in order for me to feel this way, then you go, okay, yeah, I need to believe that that person should be doing that, or like you said, they should do it without me actually asking or talking about it. And then that brings that awareness that you can either go, okay, right, I need to talk to this person,
Yeah.
and set some boundaries, or understand about, yeah, what's really going on here, and is it, whose job should it be?
Mm.
Or it's just a stupid, it doesn't make any sense. Why would I feel angry about someone not doing something that, or maybe we're not compatible. Like it's about, yeah, it starts that internal dialogue, or that
Mm.
internal awareness around, who am I in relation to this external situation? That's what beliefs are. They define who you are in response to that external situation. So that's what you're asking yourself. Who am I in response to this? And what do I prefer? And it may mean that, yeah, you need to talk, or you need to take some sort of action. You need to remove yourself from the situation. But
Mm.
it starts that journey. Yeah. And if the other person is also wanting to grow as a person, then it can be a beautiful, like anytime you feel that negative emotion, it can be a catalyst to, understanding greater love, and
Mm.
greater compassion. And it can always lead to, so negative emotion it's a friend. It's your heart generating emotion in response, telling you there's something that you're buying into, you're believing here, that's not true, that's not
Mm.
inherently true about this situation. What is it? Time for me to explore and understand what this is.
Mm. Yeah, 100%. I felt that before in a way of where you're angry at someone else for not spending time with you, and then you're like, well,
Yeah.
hang on. what am I
Yes.
really missing here?
Yes.
Why am I angry at
Yes.
that person for having their own life?
Yes.
You know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
and I have been the most codependent or externally dependent persons on the planet. So I mean, I know exactly what, I've written the book about external dependency because I've been so externally dependent.
Yeah.
I know what it's like to give my power away to people, to things, to all these external situations. And then when you're in a state of freedom and unconditional love, it doesn't matter what other people do, but even so, like I'm certainly not an enlightened person. I still feel emotions like, yeah, if someone does something that in my belief system they shouldn't be doing, I feel that negative emotion. But then like freedom is when it doesn't matter what's
Mm,
happening. It really doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter because you know that nothing can hurt you. Nothing, even if something externally were to kill you, for example, it doesn't matter. Life goes on. Like we're eternal beings.
mm,
When you can get to that point where it really does not matter, you can
mm,
and only then can you really be who you truly are. Like if you're not, if you're worth, if you're if you're not relying on the opinions of others for for self-worth or validation, then you can just be who you are,
mm,
genuinely, fully. And it doesn't matter how other people respond because you know that you're doing it from the right place. You know you're just genuinely expressing who you are in an unconditional way.
mm.
Yeah, then you're free. Like that
Yeah.
is the end of suffering, Chalk.
Yeah.
Just be who you truly are, and in each and every
Mm,
moment. And as I said, like it's easy to sit here and say it, and people have been saying this for thousands of years. Enlightened masters have been saying this for thousands of years. But it's still a journey. You can get to the point where you're saying, "Oh, I'm actually really getting this stuff," and then suddenly, yeah, some minor thing will trigger you, like massively. You'll get
mm,
this huge emotional response, and you'll feel this anger, and it's so there's just more layers to peel away,
mm.
and more layers to peel away. And relationships are so perfect for that because they force it out. You
Yeah.
know, they really force it out. It's like an intense, like a partners. They're spiritual teachers.
Mm,
They will pull everything out of you that isn't aligned with who you
yeah.
are, and you'll do the same to them. And
Mm,
that's really the purpose of relationship.
mm,
It's to allow the other person, to understand and grow and be more of who they really are. Um, mm,
mm. Yeah, I've felt that too.
yeah.
That is powerful because a lot of the time
Yeah.
a relationship starts because someone sees something in that person that they don't have, unconsciously, of
Yes.
cour's.
Yes.
So then
Yes.
that
Yes.
straight away is codependence because you're like, say
Yes.
that person's outgoing, and then you're, okay, I'm going to
Yes.
go with her because they're more
Yes.
outgoing. So maybe
Yes.
it'll help me
Exactly.
with that. And then they learn
Exactly.
that, and then maybe they learn that part, and then all of a sudden, they're like, huh, I don't need this person anymore. I've achieved what I've achieved from them.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly, Chop. Exactly.
Mm,
And too, like as men, like we've also been, and this is the same for women. Our society teaches us through movies and all this stuff, that if you're a man and you're heterosexual, like you need a woman to complete you. You need, you
mm,
need that feminine energy, and vice versa. And that's not true. Like this is what, again, to help men understand that you can nurture yourself.
mm,
You don't need a woman to provide that feminine nurturing.
mm.
Men, we need to learn how to nurture ourselves. And then when we're connected to our own feminine energy, we can be creative. We can be in the moment. We can nurture ourselves. Then we don't need, like, we're not needing a feminine counterpart. And when you don't need a feminine counterpart, then you can actually really unconditionally love a woman. Well,
Yeah.
if you don't need her, and it doesn't matter whether you're straight or heterosexual. It doesn't matter if it's another person.
Mm,
If you realize that actually we're all masculine and feminine, doesn't matter about gender, whether we're male, feminine, or female, or anything in between, doesn't matter. We have all those energies, and we can actually, we are whole and complete as we are. And so there's this illusion that, it's this polarity that we experience in reality, that if you're male, you need female to balance you out. Well,
mm,
actually, you're male and female energy, irrespective of your gender. So you can nurture yourself. You can connect to your intuition. You can connect to your creative energy as a man. You don't need a woman if you're heterosexual to do that. And then that again is freedom. Then
Mm,
you can unconditionally love a woman. Then you're not needing her. And it's the same for women. You know, if they yeah, that they don't need like masculine energy. It's focused. You know, it's consistent.
mm,
You know, feminine. If you're a woman, you can be focused and consistent too. You can connect to your masculine energy. So it's this illusion of incompleteness that we've been taught as well, which is what
mm,
causes a lot of the issues in relationships. Is that when you understand that you're a complete you're masculine and feminine, you're a whole and complete being, then you'll attract that in another person as
mm,
well. And so then it's two whole and complete beings coming together for the purpose of understanding more of who they are. It's
mm,
not to complete the other person. That's the
mm,
basis for codependency. That's why, you know, people that come and like you say, you know, I think I need something. You know, yeah, that
mm,
person is or she's that's feminine energy that you know, I thought I needed from a mother. You know, I need that. I
mm,
can't give that to myself. Or yeah, like you say, oh, someone's extrovert, I'm introverted, I need that. Or they're doing this sort of thing. And but straight away, the relationship is based on need. It's based on anxiety. It's codependent. And
mm,
so that will always create suffering. And that's beautiful. Like it's beautiful to be in a codependent relationship because it'll force all those beliefs out of you. But
mm,
if you don't actually do the work of looking within and understanding what's really going on, it'll just be prolonged suffering for both people. A lot of people do that. You know, they won't actually acknowledge the codependency, and they'll just
mm,
stay in a relationship where they're both disempowered. They lose themselves. Each person lose themselves because they become dependent on the other.
mm,
And so that is what causes suffering in relationships. But yeah, moving out of that external dependency, realizing that you don't need the other person, and then really the whole purpose then is for you to just give,
mm,
and but you receive as well. You receive as well because in giving, you know, you receive. The pleasure of giving is, you know, you receive that pleasure back.
mm. Yeah. I've I know exactly what you mean. As soon as you get in that consciousness of giving and loving everyone and everything, it just life feels smoother and more freeing
Yeah.
and just calmer almost. It feels like you're not
Yes.
hitting walls all the time and you're not angry at everyone and yourself as well. You're just a bit more, it'll be all right. I know this is the best for me, and a bit more gratitude involved in your life.
Exactly, Chuck. And it's because you're not seeking to get anything.
Yeah.
You're just giving of yourself. And
Mm,
and you're not depending on a certain reaction from that external reality. So when you can just and yeah, there is no suffering, there is no anxiety when you're just being who you really are.
yeah.
Because you don't care, you know, you
Yeah.
don't care what's reflected back to you. Like, you know, that you're
Yeah.
not seeking to get anything. There's no perceived need involved.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. One thing about the law of attraction that's people don't understand as well, it comes off your vibration. So
Yes.
if people are, oh, I'm trying to manifest this and that, but then they've still got that belief system of which is negative or fear based, then that's what they're attracting. So the law of the mirror is still there. The law of reflection is still there. It's just not.
Still reflecting.
Yeah.
That's so true. Like, yeah, I mean, what you put out is what you get back. If you believe you need something and you're acting out of fear-based anxiety, like you're acting out of anxiety, so you might be taking a whole lot of action. You might be doing all this work and, you know, running around like headless chook, whatever. I need it. I'm doing whatever I can. I'm visualizing, but it's all dependent. You're insisting on a specific outcome. So you're acting out of anxiety, and as you say, so what are you getting back? Like you're fearing that you'll never get. Like you're fearing that your happiness is dependent. You're fearing you'll never get what it is that you're trying to manifest. And so,
Mm,
as exactly as you say, that's what you'll get back. More of that fear that
mm,
you won't get what you believe you need. And
mm,
so, and that is what our reality today. Like we're all so stressed, and we're all taking so much action,
yeah.
but it's fear-based action.
Yeah.
And that
Urgency.
fear-based action is pushing away everything that we're attempting to manifest. And what we're attempting to manifest may not be what we need. I mean,
Mm,
the secret to manifestation is just to, if you feel excited about something, visualize it. Yeah, ramp it up and ramp up your state of excitement, and then let it go. Let it go
mm,
completely. Let it go. and then move on to what excites you
Mm,
next. That's
yeah.
what, and not do not need, like Bashar talks about this, that the physical mind, like what it thinks is the best outcome, like it has no idea what the best outcome is. It's your, like your higher mind, the non-physical part of you, like it knows what it is that you genuinely need, and what you genuinely need may be 10 times better and more exciting than what your physical mind, because all your physical mind is just using what the past, what it's experienced in the past.
Mm,
Whereas like your high mind, like your soul, like it knows what's ahead for you in the future. And so while there may be something far grander than what you can currently imagine up for you ahead, but if you insist that it has to be a certain way,
mm,
like you're actually limiting that, you're limiting yourself. So that's just what Bashar talks about. Secret to manifestation is like you visualize, you ramp up your state of excitement, you let go, you move on to
mm,
what excites you next, and you don't place any insistence that it needs to manifest in that specific way. You just know that you'll get what you need.
mm,
And in doing so, you allow things that are far more miraculous, far more amazing, that you're actually allowing those in, because you're not limiting what it is that you can manifest by insisting, that it has to manifest exactly the way that you envisage
mm.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. 100%. Because then you just create another attachment. Like,
exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
And
Yeah,
then
that's
then
right.
that comes out of anxiety again because you're like,
It's out of
oh, I
anxiety.
can't do this
Yeah,
because I'm working on this goal. I can't do that.
exactly,
If you
exactly.
just,
And
yeah,
like it's okay to have a goal.
yeah,
But like as Bashar talks about, like part of the goal has to be like, or part of having a plan is allowing that plan to change. You have to allow it to be flexible.
mm,
If you just have a specific, this has to happen this way, again, you like you say, it's attachment, it's insistence,
yeah,
it's need, and you'll never get there. You
no,
never get there without insistence. Or
mm,
you might be able to get some of the way, like through extreme action, you just burn yourself out.
mm,
Yeah, it is about just visioning, yeah, having a vision, having a goal. It's all great, but just don't place any insistence on
mm,
it that it needs
yeah,
to occur. Just let it be what it is. Let like feeling excited in the moment, that's going to reflect back to you in some form or other in the future. Just that state of excitement, and it may
mm,
look completely different to what
mm,
your vision is now, but it may be way better. It may be
mm,
way, like, far more exciting, far more interesting than what you could possibly imagine, because your physical mind is limited in what it is able to, in its creative power. It can just, all it can do is look at the past and basically project that
mm,
into the future.
yeah, yeah. It's like when you have this attachment to the outcome, and then all of a sudden, the same as when you were in your depression, but you open the door to
Yep.
the book, and then other
Yes.
ideas just flood in. And if you
Exactly.
resist that, then you're not you're resisting where your journey should be. You should be going.
Yes. Exactly, Chuck.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. I love the way
Yeah.
you explained to me one day about beliefs and your perception. I was just explaining it to someone the other day. Obviously, you explained it better, but we see the world through our own view, through our own
Yes.
perception, and it's like wearing our own set of belief glasses.
Yes.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, I like to think about it like this. So every time you perceive a situation, you will automatically activate whatever you believe to be true about that situation. That you will, and some of those beliefs will be positive, some of those beliefs will be neutral, and some of those beliefs will be negative. And it's those combined beliefs create the glasses that you perceive reality through. So you're filtering your conscious, you're filtering who you really are through those beliefs, fear-based, neutral, and positive. And if your belief in your fear-based beliefs is stronger than your belief in your love-based beliefs, then you will filter your energy through that. Your glasses are going to be like, they're going to be fear-based. So you're going to see that situation through the filter of fear. But if your love-based beliefs are stronger than your fear-based beliefs, like if you believe in your love-based beliefs more than your fear-based beliefs in relation to a situation, you'll perceive that situation through the filter of love. A way I explain it is like this: like if you think about a favorite pet, if you just think about a favorite pet right now, you're going to immediately filter your energy through the filter of love, because that's how what you associate with your pet. Your belief in your love-based beliefs in relation to your pet is stronger than your belief in your fear-based beliefs in relation to that situation, because that is a love-based association. You know, you love that
Mm,
animal, you've had lots of good memory, and so automatically those beliefs are activated.
mm,
But if you think about, say, going to a job you don't like, then you automatically your fear-based beliefs in relation to that situation is stronger than your love-based beliefs, and so you'll perceive that situation like you're putting on glasses, you're putting on your fear-based glasses.
mm,
And that's true for everything we perceive. Every moment, every time, we're perceiving reality through our beliefs. And if our beliefs are more fear-based and love-based beliefs, we'll have a negative emotional reaction. If our
mm,
beliefs are more love-based, we'll have a positive emotional reaction. And so positive emotional reaction is just a sign that hey, you're aligned with who you really are right now.
mm,
So it's good. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep following what you're doing. And if you
mm,
feel a negative emotion, it's a sign that stop. You know what's going on right now. You're filtering your energy through fear-based beliefs, and that's the trigger to understand. Right? What do I believe is true about this situation that's making me feel this way?
mm,
And that's when you can actually use that fear, that negative emotion, in a positive way. So
mm,
everything. So if you're feeling negative emotion, you can use that in a positive way by actively looking for the underlying beliefs. If you're
mm,
feeling positive emotion, you're aligned with who you really are. Like, keep doing what you're doing. Keep following whatever it is that you're excited by.
mm.
It's actually really simple.
Yeah,
It can be
yeah.
really, really simple. So it doesn't matter what you're feeling, negative or positive, you can use that in a positive way
Mm,
in each and every
yeah,
moment.
yeah.
Mm.
We get taught in a course I participate in that gratitude is should be you should do gratitude every day. It's so powerful,
Yeah.
and the way to properly do it is to reflect on your day and then figure out the parts where you had resistance or fear,
Yeah.
and then
Yes.
reflect on that and learn something from that. Like, for example, what I said before, you came home and you were angry at your wife or something.
Yeah.
Reflect on that and then figure out
Yes.
why you were angry,
Why?
and then thank
Yes.
yourself for that situation. Don't go into judgment or
Yes.
and
Yes.
that's I guess
Yes.
that's what you're talking about there. That realization of, hang on, why was I negative here? Why was I positive there? Okay, let's go more that way, and then resolve this part, and keep going towards that excitement or bit that fills us
E- e-
up.
exactly, Chuck.
Mm,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. Yeah. And then, like, I'll talk about one teaching from Bashar that is probably like the most powerful teaching that I've been to a lot of spiritual teachers, I've done a lot of courses and stuff, but nothing has more
yeah,
powerful than what this one teaching from Bashar, because it, it does exactly what you're saying. Like, it in the moment, like, allows you to be the best version of yourself, but then it also it will highlight any areas in where that's blocking you from being more of who you really are.
mm,
So it's like it's a moment to moment state of being that will allow you to be the best version of yourself in each and every moment, and that will just amplify the more you follow this teaching. So he calls it the formula, and it's a 5-part formula. And Bashabe says, like, you know it's really the structure of personal empowerment, of being who you really are. If you really want to live, like, be in your power, live, you know, the life that you prefer to live, you just need to follow the formula. And when you understand the formula, like, it makes so much sense. So it's a 5-part formula. The first part is to follow your highest passion, excitement, in each and every moment. So you just follow whatever excites you the most in each and every moment. Part 2 is to the best of your ability until you can take it no further. Part 3 is with zero insistence or expectation on a particular outcome. Part 4 is remain in a positive state no matter what the outcome. And part 5 is constantly investigate your beliefs.
mm.
And that's all you need to do in each and every moment, is just follow that 5-part formula. And if you
Yeah,
do that, you will, as you talked about vibration before, your vibration will continue to raise. You
mm,
will constantly raise your vibration. Plus, it will expose you. Following the formula will expose you to anything that's out of alignment with who you prefer to be. So it'll expose any beliefs, because you'll force them to the surface. Like, the more you kind of move towards who you really are, the more those fear-based beliefs will attempt to drag you back. They'll
mm,
be forced to the surface, and for you to you can either let them drag you back, or you can expose them and then continue to move forward. But following that 5-part formula, like that will allow you to be who you truly are in each and every moment
Mm,
to the best of your ability, and do it in an unconditional way.
yeah.
And so that to me is like, it's like, if you really want to break it down, if you really want to simplify life and make your life as simple as possible, just follow the formula. Just follow
Mm,
your excitement in each and every
yeah.
moment. Take it as far as you can to the best of your ability, with zero insistence or assumption on a specific outcome. Remain in a positive state, no matter what the outcome. And that can mean like you can experience an outcome that you don't prefer, but it doesn't mean you can't stay in a positive state.
Mm,
Like you can, you just have to change your belief about the situation, and bang, you remain in a positive state, and then constantly investigate your beliefs.
yeah.
Constantly investigate your beliefs. So that
I,
really is it.
yeah. I guess if you hit that resistance there of like you trusting the journey and then you hit
Yes,
that not positive state, you just ask the question,
you
why am
ask
I
the
feeling like
question.
that? Because
Yeah.
this is where you just have to trust that if you follow this path, everything will work out.
Yes.
So if you hit that
Exactly.
resistance and you're like,
Exactly.
well, this is where I'm meant to be going on my journey, what's
Yes.
the belief to why I'm
Yes.
resisting this part, this section?
Exactly. And it
Yeah.
may take you, and it will take you in unexpected directions.
Yeah.
Like, and there will be like there will be beliefs, so you may act on your highest excitement. You've taken it as far as you can till you can take it no further, that you have the highest ability or degree to act on in each and every moment. You may have no insistence or expectation of a specific outcome, or don't think you do, but then something may happen. Like you may say let's say you're stuck in a traffic jam, for example. So you're driving somewhere and then suddenly you're stuck in a traffic jam. And then you can have those beliefs come up. Will say, hang on, this isn't supposed to happen like this. I'm on my way to do something really exciting. What's going on? But that
Mm,
traffic jam may have prevented you, like Bashar talks about, may have prevented you from being in an accident two
mm,
minutes down the road. So it may actually be serving you in that moment to be sitting in that traffic jam. And if you and that's what remaining in a positive state is all about. Exactly as you say. If you find that if you feel negative emotion in response to something external, you just realize that actually this can serve me in a positive way. I just have to
mm,
figure out what would I need to believe is true about this situation in order for me to feel this way. And you can go, oh, I think my belief is that I'm going to be late and I'm going to get in trouble,
yeah.
or I need to be there. Something needs to happen.
Yeah.
And then when you can actually change your belief. Actually, this I don't know how this is serving me, but I know it is. I know this.
Mm,
There's a reason for this, and I may only become aware of it later down the track, but I know this is serving me right now.
mm,
And so straight away, yeah, as you say, you change your state, you're back in a positive state. And then
mm,
what's the next most exciting thing I can do? I can listen to a podcast,
mm,
you know, I can listen to music. I can do something. There's something I can do in this moment that is, and as Bashar talks about, you just do whatever is slightly more exciting in each and every moment. And if two things feel the same as exciting as each other, just which one do you have the greatest ability to act on? If you have the
mm,
same degree of ability to act on, just do one of those things and
mm,
it will show where you need to go. Like that is what synchronicity is all about. It will take you in directions, but the longest way around, like that may be your path of least resistance. That's just something to be aware of, is that, it will test your beliefs because we're
mm,
so ingrained to, um, I talk about, the path of least distance isn't always the shortest distance between A and B. Like if you need to get to the ground and you're in an airplane, well, the quickest way to get to the ground is just to jump out, but you're
mm,
going to go splat on the ground,
mm,
right? So
mm,
it's the quickest way to the ground, but it's not going to serve you.
yeah.
But if you jump out of the plane and you wear a parachute, yeah, it's going to take a bit longer, but you're going to get to the ground safely.
Yeah.
So again, like our physical minds, they're not designed. Like Bashar talks about the physical mind, it's the perceiver, it's
Mm,
not the conceiver. So our physical minds aren't designed to know what's going to occur in the future. They don't. They
mm,
can't. They can only draw upon the past. And
mm,
sometimes our physical mind will get it right. They'll project into the future and they'll get it right. But to more often than not, they have no idea. So it's our higher
mm,
mind, it's our non-physical guide, the intuition that we feel that comes from our higher minds. That is what Bashar describes as the conceiver. So
mm,
that's where our creativity comes from. And it's learning to listen to intuition, the language of intuition, learning to listen to our higher mind. What's more exciting? in the moment.
Mm,
That's all we need to do. What intuitively is more exciting for me to do right now? Right, I'll take action on that. I'll take as far as I can. I'll have no
mm,
insistence or expectation in the outcome. But where people have the most trouble is in that last bit, having expectation and then not
mm,
remaining in a positive state. Something goes the way the physical mind says it shouldn't be occurring this way. I thought it was going to happen this way. Yeah, I might go and ask a girl out, for example, and she says no. That's straight away something's going wrong, bad.
yeah.
I'm unworthy, whatever. But actually, what's really going on is it's just you being redirected. She's not the person for you.
Mm.
You can change that
Yeah.
belief in the moment.
Yeah.
You know, and that's really what it's all about. It's just changing the belief. Oh wow, I had the courage to do that. Wow, what a really positive experience that was. But that
Mm,
person's not for me. Great. Well, on to the next. What's the next most exciting? But it can apply to anything. It can apply to
mm.
anything you do. Yeah, but it's actually applying that, Chuck, which is, I
Yeah.
guess, the challenge that most people have. Like, it's easy for me to say, it's easy to talk about, and that's what I've realized. A lot of these spiritual teachers, they're all saying the same thing.
Yeah.
They're all saying, and it's beautiful and it's true, but it's actually living it. It's actually
Yeah.
doing it. It's actually following the formula, actually doing that, being who you truly are, and
Mm,
not letting the external, um, uh, you know, the the world, um, you know, take you back on into that fear, take
mm.
into that old conditioning.
Yeah.
Like I talk about in my book as well. There's I call it like the vibrational spectrum. It's like, imagine you have a hill. In the middle of the hill is the neutral point, and then on, say, one side is, you have, like, I call it the slope of love, or the love slope, and the other side is the fear slope. And so in each moment, we're somewhere on that vibrational spectrum. We're either on the love slope or the fear slope, or at the neutral point. And if
Mm,
we're on the fear slope, or the love slope, like, it will automatically, like you'll automatically want to, gravity will force you, like, further down.
mm,
So if you're in a state of fear, like, it's the momentum of that fear is, like, pushing you further down,
mm,
and then at the bottom of the fear slope is unadulterated fear, it's extreme fear. And at the bottom of the love slope is, like, unconditional love. So whenever you're on the fear slope, like, really, you've got to come back up the fear slope, neutralize the situation. And that's what asking that question is. What would I need to
mm,
believe is true about myself in order to feel this way? It neutralizes it, because you're becoming objective in asking yourself
mm,
that question. You're separating yourself from the situation, so it neutralizes it, gets you back up to the neutral point, and then allows you to actually get back onto the love slope by changing your beliefs in that moment. And then the momentum of being on the love slope will then take you further, further, further down.
mm.
But so we're always somewhere on the vibrational spectrum, and it's our emotions that let us know where we are. If we're feeling
Mm,
negative emotion, we're on the fear slope. Right. We know we need to get ourselves back up to the neutral point. How do we do
yeah.
that? We ask the question. Neutralizes the situation, allows us to identify the beliefs, and we can put ourselves back on the love slope.
Mm, very beautiful. I so much to unpack from this podcast. Eh? I can't wait to re-listen to it. Um,
Yeah, I can't stop talking about it, Chuck. I'm
ah,
sorry, I'm
I
stuck
love
on
it. I love
it.
it. No, I love it.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for the book to come out. And you said you're doing a big website with it, with videos and stuff too, aren't you?
I'd like to do a YouTube channel
Yep.
eventually. Yeah, yeah. But and I haven't really done much on the website yet. Main thing at the moment, Chuck, is just to get the book
Yep.
sorted, get it published. Yeah, and so people can read it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm super excited, and I bet everyone who listens to this will be as well after that. What would you say the biggest thing for people to take out is? I know you said a few things before about listening to your emotions and not judging them and just observing them. Would you say that's one of the biggest things for step one?
Absolutely, absolutely,
Mm,
Chuck. Because there's this idea that especially, like, for men, is that emotions are bad.
mm,
Emotions are bad. And that is one thing I really want to, like. It's the masculine energy of humanity that's within all of us, whether you're male, female, or anything
mm,
in between. It's the masculine energy that's in crisis. The feminine energy has been rising for several decades. Divine feminine is rising. Masculine energy is, it's still stagnant, and actually, like this, the shadow masculine. Um, it's actually trying to force us, it's actually trying to make, force us back into that. It's
Mm,
really, but and so that is really and part of that, like the shadow masculine is stagnant.
mm,
It doesn't grow. It doesn't, it's dominant. And it's dominant from the point of view that you don't have the power to naturally attract what it is you need in your life. So dominance is a state of disempowerment. There's a lot of talk around this, masculinity is dominant, we need to dominate. It's a state of disempowerment because it's
mm,
dominance basically is saying that you don't have the power to naturally attract whatever it is you need in life. You do. You don't need to dominate. Like
mm,
you don't need and shadow feminine is submissiveness, where you don't believe it's the same belief. You don't have the
mm.
power you need, so then you give your power away to others.
Yeah.
The shadow masculine, yeah, this idea of that it's dominant, that it's stagnant. It doesn't act out of integrity.
Mm,
This is what has led the world for so long right now.
yeah.
But part of that is shut down your emotions,
Mm,
be emotionless, act on pure logic.
mm,
And yes, masculine or male bodies, their left brain, they do, act more out of logic. I am male, I understand that,
mm,
but it doesn't mean you don't like, and logic isn't a bad thing. It doesn't mean that you shut down your emotions because your
mm,
emotions are it's your emotional guidance system that will allow you to uncover your unconscious beliefs.
mm,
So this idea that as men we need to be emotionless, we need to be stagnant, we need to dominate and another one of the main shadow masculine belief is I'm superior. It's been bred into this masculine energy is superior.
yeah.
One of the dominant beliefs of shadow feminine is I'm inferior.
Mm,
We're working our way through that. Feminine energy now is rising. It's coming out of that state of or that belief in inferiority, which is absolute rubbish, of course, and it's
mm,
absolute rubbish that masculine energy is superior. Absolute rubbish.
mm,
Um, but one of the ways for men to actually take their power back is using your emotions, allowing rather than blocking, like being emotionless is actually the way to understand and to actually raise the masculine energy into the divine masculine is through your emotions. And
mm,
it's not, there's this fear that your emotions will somehow, they'll carry you away and you won't be able to control them, whatever. You don't need to control your emotions. Your emotions is just an indication from your heart
mm,
that you're buying into a fear-based belief. That's all it is.
mm.
It's your heart saying, and I mean, I had to have open heart surgeries for me to start listening to my heart. I was so shut down, I was
Yeah.
so just disconnected from my emotions, just so, yeah, just, purely buying into the shadow masculine beliefs. I need to acquire wealth. I need to,
Mm,
and it's all rubbish.
mm,
And when I had to start listening to my heart, start listening to my emotions, and that's what's really has healed me.
mm,
That's where the healing has come from. So
mm.
that's a long answer to the question, Chock. But yes,
Yeah.
emotions, but they won't. It's not something feminine that's going to turn you into a woman or whatever,
Yeah.
or make you weak. It's not going to. It's just an indication. Negative emotion is just an indication that you're buying into fear-based belief. And so men, like when we shut down our emotions, shut down, shut down, shut down, what happens? It builds up, builds up, builds up. Our emotions, our heart has to, generate more and more
Contract
emotion,
and
and it comes out
contract.
as anger,
Mm,
and eventually it just bursts from us in anger. Um, and the anger is the anger at ourselves because
mm,
we're continually buying into these beliefs, disempowering ourselves.
mm,
Um, and, uh, and we're not actually using our emotional guidance system for what it was designed for. It's
mm.
a tool. It's an amazing tool. Like
Amazing tool.
emotions, that it's just an indication that you're buying into a fear-based belief. That's all it is. And
Yeah.
if you don't understand that, you will be swept away by your emotions.
Mm,
You'll believe that that's who you are. I am this negative emotion, but
yeah.
no, it's just indicating that you're buying into a belief that's out of line with who you really are. Look in for the belief. Use that emotion in a positive way. And so
Mm,
that there's this fear in men about listening to their emotions.
mm,
Yeah, so that's one thing for me. And like now, it's really simple. If I feel negative emotion, it's just, oh, great. Okay, what is it?
yeah.
What's the underlying here? And I'm not just afraid of the emotions.
Mm,
Sometimes we'll need to go through a dark night of the soul, which is where you will need to just allow yourself to feel it. And it
yeah.
can feel rotten. It connects you to, your wounded inner child when you first took on these beliefs,
Mm,
but you've got to allow yourself just to be with it, acknowledge it, let it flow through you, and it will. it'll flow
Mm,
through. And then once you've felt that emotion, you can ask the question, what do I need to believe about myself, in order
mm,
for me to feel this, it doesn't feel good,
yeah,
but it's just an indication that I'm ready to release whatever the underlying belief is. So yeah, that's emotions,
yeah.
Choc. Yes, yeah, big one.
Emotions are the compass to your heart
They are.
in a
They
nutshell.
absolutely
Yeah,
are. Yeah, they
yeah.
are. Yeah,
Or your higher
it is.
self or your true self.
Exactly. Yeah. It's it's
Mm,
it's your heart's response. It's your heart helping you.
mm,
Yeah. It's telling you something's out of alignment, or something's in alignment.
yeah, yeah.
Follow this. You're in alignment with who you are. You're feeling good. Yeah, it's your heart saying, yeah, you're where you need to be right now. Keep doing what you're doing.
Mm. Mate, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your wisdom and your knowledge from your book. I'm so excited for it to come out.
My pleasure, Chuck. My pleasure.
Yeah.
And congratulations on the podcast.
Thank you, mate. Thank you.
Really
I'm
excited
I'm
for you
loving
too,
it.
mate. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you, brother. I'll tag do you still use Instagram or anything like that? Where
I've
people can
just
find you?
rejoined.
All
I
right.
just rejoined. It's under Love Your Fears Away, which is the title of
All
my
right.
book.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll get it off you
Yeah.
after this and share it in
Yeah.
the
Cool.
notes so people can track you down.
Sounds good. Sounds
Thank
good.
you so much, mate.
No, my pleasure, Chuck. Awesome.
Pleasure. Chat soon.